So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do the basic cornrow on somebody else's hair. Hopefully that will help you also do it on your own hair. But I'll be releasing a video soon on how to do it on yourself. I'll be showing you two different techniques where you can braid from this angle or this angle. You can part your hair with basically anything, I think. So you can use a wide tooth comb. I remember back in the days when I had to do people's hair at school, we used to part with like pencils. I used to use pencils, plastic, what's the thing? Pens. Not even plastic, not toothbrushes.
Toothpick.
What do you eat with? Forks, plastic forks. Used to do that, part their hair, because we were ghetto back in the day. Tie it back to make sure it doesn't get all, what's the word, when you start cornrowing and the hair starts going in. It's really annoying.
Oh, when
keep it nice and neat. Yeah. To keep it neat, tie it back with the hairband or clips. And I put some product up in there. Dime-sized amount. It's definitely not dime-sized. Dime-sized amount. Just to leave in conditioner to keep her hair conditioned. The way that you plait determines the way that you would cornrow. So if you plait inwards, like if you have your sections, your 3 different plaits, then you cross with the one on the right first into the middle, then you go from the left into the middle, oh sorry, poke your eye out, then the right into the middle, left, right. If you do like that, then you're going to end up with a French braid. So your cornrows won't be outward, they'll be inward, if that makes sense. Probably not. Does it make sense, Yolanda? Outwards,
sense,
inwards?
I know what you're talking about.
Okay. So then basically you'll need to be able to braid outward, where you start with the middle piece first, and then you bring that over to your left first. Then you go from the right and bring that under and bring this left one over. Then your left one's going under. Then the right one's going under. And you're swapping it over like that. So this is how I would plait or braid so that I'm able to cornrow. So it goes over like this. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so get the front section, separate it into 3 different parts. So I keep the first one in like my pinky finger, my ring finger, and holding it onto my palm like so. Then the middle one I hold with my index finger and my thumb. Oh yeah, my middle finger's kind of holding that one as well. Index finger and my thumb. The placement does get a bit confusing. You have to kind of practice holding the hair like so. That's probably what gets people a bit flustered at first. My left hand is holding it with the palm and my last few fingers, swapping it around like so and bringing it over. So that's the first move, right? Bring it over there. But now we're gonna need to bring this piece over with some hair. So you collect a little bit of hair like this section and you bring it over. I kind of separate it sometimes with my hands to make sure that I don't tangle it up. Bring it over. And now every time you move, you want to collect a little piece of hair. Just a small amount. So now you bring it over. And you bring it over again. So we've crossed it over, we've collected hair. Now my hand position has kind of changed. I want to bring this first piece here over again with some hair. And swap it. Keep, every time I do it, my thumb and my index finger is always picking up the hair. So you can see here, these 2 fingers are holding it. My index finger is going under and bringing it. And palm is holding this last piece here. Index finger and thumb holding the middle piece. And then my little finger is kind of grasping on with the other fingers here. I want to collect this piece of hair that I parted. So to do that, I need to, whilst I'm moving this first piece here inwards, I want to collect some hair with my index finger and my thumb. So whilst it's moving in, I'm picking up a piece of hair. You see that I picked up a little bit here. And then now, whilst that's now moving back to the other side, so now whilst I'm bringing this piece here into the middle, I'm collecting another piece of hair from the other part with my left index finger and thumb, collecting this piece of hair. So now that's coming over. And each time I do that, each movement, each motion collects hair using your thumb and your index finger. To keep it tight, you want to also make sure you keep your hands close to the root, otherwise it will be loose and not as neat. Keep your hand as close to you as you can. So as you can see, I'm collecting it here, but I'm staying, my fingers are right next to her scalp. So this one, fingers next to the scalp. This one, fingers next to the scalp. Fingers next to the scalp. A lot of people have different ways of doing it. There's this way, which I find the easiest. There's also a way where people have their fingers more like this and doing it where you really can't see what I'm doing. But it all depends on how you plait. So you need to experiment with that and try to keep your plait simple, and like how I am doing it right now. See, collecting hair with thumb and index finger. But to detangle it, I run my hand down it. So every time I come down, like every time I do a motion, I run my hand down the hair and make sure it's detangled. Otherwise it will tangle up and knot up and then you can't really do much. It'll be stuck, basically. So try and keep the 3 different sections separate by separating your hair. Bringing it down each time. Collecting hair at the same time. Downward. I might just keep this one going and then I'll do another one. Yeah, make sure the parting is straight, to keep it in a straight line, and make sure that you're going, you want to try and stay in the middle, otherwise it will be a bit wonky. You want to kind of just keep it going in that same, pick up the same amount of hair each time. If you pick up too much hair, or if you pick up too wide, like if your parting is way too thick and you're trying to make it so you pick up all the hair, that's when your camera will be a bit more flat. So make sure your hands are central, I guess, that's the main thing. Keep it in the center to make sure that they stay in that line. Keep going down. See, plaiting it, you want to plait it this way. This is how this is the same motion I'm doing when I'm cornrowing it. Plaiting it so that it goes in like that. Like that. So when I get to the top of the hair, my hand position kind of changes because the way I did it here was a lot easier on the sides. But once you start working to this point, once you start getting higher, it gets harder to be able to plait like this unless they're like lower down. You know how sometimes your mum used to do your hair where you're sitting on the floor, or some mum used to do my hair. You're sitting down and she's just doing the same old thing, but with me, I like to have people sitting on a chair. So let me show you this other method, which is more, it's easier when you're doing it at the top of her head. And also I find it's easier when I'm doing my own hair at the top of the section as well, the top part of the hair as well. So, this method, I would separate it like I did just now. Put it into 3 sections, as always. Then I'll collect the front bit with the 2, my index and thumb. Then my middle finger will be the one collecting the hair. So I would switch the middle one with the last one. Then my middle finger collects a bit of hair there, and now my thumb and index finger is moving with the other hand. Middle finger is collecting hair. Thumb and index, middle finger collecting a bit of hair. Thumb and index, middle finger collecting a bit of hair, and just keep going. Middle finger collecting a bit of hair. Thumb and index, middle finger collecting. Middle finger is collecting from the middle section. So you collect under, then bring it round. This left hand, you collect under, then bring it round to the left. Right hand, you collect under, bring it round to the right. Left hand again, under, bring that round. Under, bring it round.
Should make that a rap song.
Under, bring it back. Under, bring it back. And, ooh. So yeah, underward and bring it round. Left. Inner, middle finger, under, middle finger, under. So what I tend to do when I get to a midpoint is I'll switch it, which kind of confuses everything, but I switch it back to the way I was doing the first one so that I can get the top bit and then I'll go back to doing it the way I was doing it before. So I'll literally just let go of it, then pick up the hair where I left off and bring it with exactly the way I was doing it in the first bit, where you hold it on here You bring that under, and it's your thumb and your index finger that's picking up the hair. So your thumb and index fingers picking up the hair. And with this one, you're holding on. How does that even work? Yeah. So you're holding on with your thumb and your middle finger at first. Then once you bring your index finger in between, you take off with your thumb, because now your index finger is kind of holding on to that first piece of hair. So you bring your thumb round and you pick it up with your index finger. Whilst it's still grasping onto that first piece of hair, you can't let go. And then you do the same thing with this. So your thumb and middle finger's holding on. You place your index finger down and you bring your thumb over, collect the hair, make sure you separate it, collect the hair, and then turn your hand. And then you go. As long as your hand is grasping onto both the first and the middle, you're free to just let go. Fix up your own hair, you know, pick up anything that's dropped with one hand, move your hand around, and it's still holding it, it won't unravel. And I'll look at it. And then you just keep going. Detangle, yeah, you're free to detangle any knots that start happening, so you can just do that. As long as you're grasping on with your what's this finger? No, it's your middle finger, index finger, and then thumb. Then you just keep going.
What's the index? This one?
Index is this one.
Oh,
index finger.
But this is the pointy finger.
Yeah, it's the index finger. That's
Is
your
that the same thing?
middle finger. It's your ring finger and your little finger.
Pointy, can I call it pointy?
Your pointy finger. If you want to call it pointy finger, your pointy. So make sure your pointy finger is kind of holding on like this, and your thumb is there just to support it. Then you bring your thumb round underneath to then grab what is now in the middle. This is Yolanda, our model, my model for today, and you can find her at, go on, you can say your own stuff.
Yolanda's.
Yolanda's, she's
At
a
Yolanda's.
YouTuber. So at Yolanda's, both on what?
Just
Instagram, everywhere, Twitter,
or
YouTube.
Yolanda's blog.
Or Yolanda's blog on Twitter as
You
well.
can just include them somewhere.
Yes, I'll put it on the screen. So this is our lovely model for today. What kind of hair do you have, Yolanda? Let's do all that stuff.
What does it look like?
Oh, that looks cool. It looks good. And she has, what would you call it? For what, BC?
I would say most parts. The back part's 4B, 4C, but the front parts, that's kind of what, you know.
It's a bit looser.
Yeah, it's something, I don't know, maybe 4A.
Yes, the hair is, it may not look thick, but it is quite thick.